Super Retriever Series is an awesome event because it finds truly the all-around cowboy.
This is probably my favorite. It's I mean, if you look at the people sitting here, everybody's cheering each other on.
The SRS has always been near and dear to my heart and what it offers and what it's about. You know, a truly versatile dog that can hunt and trial and hunt test.
It's a grind, actually. It's all the work you had to put in to get here, the hours and hours of training, and then it all culminates right here in the next 2 or 3 days. So it's exciting.
So you got a little bit of field trial mixed in with a hunt test game, and it's the best of both worlds.
That's what it is. You're finding the all-around cowboy of the retriever world because they excel in not only field trials, but hunt test and hunting.
Hello and welcome to the Super Retriever Series Crown Championships. I am Tommy Sanders, here with the great one, J. Paul Jackson. Welcome, J. Paul.
Thank you very much, Tommy, and welcome everybody to Natchez, Mississippi.
Natchez, Mississippi, which is turning out to be one of the greatest retriever venues of all time, and like the lady said, we are truly looking for the all-around cowboy this time.
You better believe we are, I'll tell you. Tammy Bell certainly made a great analogy there. Of course, she is the owner of last year's Open Crown champion, Roscoe, and when she said it takes an all-around cowboy to win this, she was dead on the money because these teams, both the handler and the dog, have to be on the top of their game and they've got to be able to do it all.
Well, we're going to crown an amateur champion team and, of course, a professional champion. Last week, we started our focus on the amateurs. We will crown our amateur champion today. And after last week, of course, we had on top Ron Anderson and Bella with the lead, Grits and Larry McMurray, second place, and Casper and Stuart Williams following up. We're going to see 3 more teams today. 3 teams that have been through a lot already. This has been a grueling week. So what do they got to bring to the table this time around?
Well, it's been more than a week. It's been years of preparation, and today we're going to see how that pays off for our final 3 amateurs to run.
All right, we'll take a look at those teams we will see today. They'll be the bottom 3. As you look at the leaderboard right now, we'll be seeing Bob Jones and Chrissy, Stuart Williams with his second dog, Stormy, and Mike Gibson and Trigg, who came into the finals actually in the lead. Refresh us now on the test today, J. Paul.
Be happy to, Tommy. Well, this is a hunt-savvy test. 5 marks, little pause in between. Handler shoots the first 2, then goes over to the Excel boat, reloads his gun, comes back, shoots the final 3 marks. Of course, the dog can pick them up in any order. The judges are looking for marking and memory on this test. These are all marked retrieves, no blinds. So they're looking for the dog to go out there and pick up the birds by themselves.
The final test of a fairly grueling week for these teams here who have made it to the Super 6 in their respective divisions. And coming to the line right now, Chrissy with Bob Jones, this team from Manning, South Carolina.
Yes, sir. And Bob and Chrissy, they had 2 excellent series in the first 2 series. Bob, I'm sure, is hoping that Chrissy will repeat that here. See a little bit of a creep there out of Chrissy, and good turn, though, for that next bird. Now Bob has to go and pick up his gun. Something that I've actually done a couple of times before out hunting. This is very realistic. I can tell you it's embarrassing when it happens, but I've been there, done that.
Absolutely. Most of us have.
Tell you, Chrissy is a really nice animal. She's got plenty of desire. As you can see, she's really, really ready to go.
Lake Moultrie Chrissy, her full name. That's a clue to their hometown, Manning, South Carolina, where the Santee Cooper complex of those lakes is right there, and they pay tribute to their home area, this team.
A little bit of creep there out of Chrissy, and a little bit of a whine as well. She's not super fast, but she certainly has all the desire in the world.
Bob says she's always ready to work. Bob taught junior ROTC for 20 years. He says that's perfect preparation for training dogs. I kind of like that comment.
Definitely. I'll tell you what, if you can work with young people, you can definitely work with a dog.
And we are off and running.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that is a really, really nice line there. Bam. Chrissy gets it. Now, a lot of people would wonder why they just threw up 2 faults on the score, but as you can see, there was a little bitty hook there at the end, so Chrissy didn't pick it up clean. They've got to leave room for perfection for that dog that goes out there and just front foots it. Another nice mark for Chrissy there.
Total is 6 faults so far as we head for that strip of unmowed or unmanicured area.
Yeah, and she's going into the heavy cover again in a really nice spot here. She's on the downwind side of the bird. I believe she's winded it, Tommy. Yep. Boom, there she's got it. Really nice job. 12 faults. I think that's the lowest score that we've seen through these first 3 birds. Now that's not a good place to be. Chrissy's in no man's land there. She's kind of right in the middle of both these marks. But wow, look at that recovery, Tommy.
Wow. This one has been bedeviling most of our teams. This middle mark, this mark number 3, has been deceptively difficult for them.
Amen. I think she's hunting a little bit short, but that is not a horrible spot to be. And I'll tell you, given her initial line was splitting them, to be able to come back in there and work this out and pick up this bird the way she has, Chrissy is really in the driver's seat right now.
Only 37 faults.
Chrissy. Now Bob kicking her off for the money bird. Really important.
All in all, Bob and Chrissy just happy to be here.
I got through the first 4 series pretty much with her. Many people have told me just stay out of her way and let her go, and she'll do the job. And that's true. She's a remarkable marking dog, and usually is very responsive to commands and signals. Chrissy would be a definite cheerleader. She is always excited about going to work and train. She loves to dance around and do circles when she's happy. She's all about, having a good time.
Tell you, this has been an extended hunt here, racking up some points being offline, and now he's having to handle. A little bit to the right there too. This isn't over yet, Tommy.
Yeah, taking a while. Total number of faults, 113. So that's going to make for a cumulative total of 291. Not enough to take over Ron Anderson and Bella. Well, stay tuned. When we come back, we'll have Stuart Williams, his second appearance in these finals, this time with Stormy. The Super Retriever Series Crown Championship is presented by Eukanuba. Sporting dogs give us everything we ask and then some. Their nutrition should do the same. And by Tangle-Free Waterfowl. Visit Natchez and Prairie Rock Outfitters. Welcome back. We are in a gorgeous place, the Mount Repose Plantation, built in 1824 for a man named William Bisland on lands that were granted to him back in the 18th century, 1782, and it is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Shocker, right there. Jay Paul, yeah, it's lots of history here in Natchez, and now we're ready to go with Stuart Williams and his second dog to make it into the Super 6 here. This is Stormy.
Stormy had a pretty shaky first series, and I knew coming out of the first series that if we were going to make it to the finals that we had to do it big. He had a really nice second series on that 270-yard bird. Man, he went out there and just stabbed it. Third series come through, and the fourth series he did what he was capable of doing. If Stormy was a human athlete, Stormy would probably be Dak Prescott. He's inconsistent here, and then there's days he comes out and just absolutely mangles things. And I feel like Dak being a young quarterback, Stormy is identical to him. You never know what this dog's going to do when you break him off the truck.
I'll tell you, Dak Prescott is a really, really good comparison there too, because Stormy is definitely one heck of an athlete. I tell you, and those line matters impeccable. I mean, Stormy saw every single bird fall.
Again, the second bird in the Super 6 for Stuart. I mean, what does that mean? Is that good news for the team, for each individual team, or is that a great thing overall? It is for Stuart, of course.
Obviously, it is for Stuart, but it just shows how dedicated as an amateur Stuart is to this sport. I mean, he does a great job Stormy's his up-and-comer. Dog shows tremendous talent. Of course, this dog is a combination hunt test and field trial dog. Stormy in the hunt test world is a grand hunting retriever champion, but Stormy is also qualified all age as a field trial dog.
Stewart says Stormy good at big blinds, not so much super long retrieve, so this will be a challenge.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, right there you saw some excellent strategy on Stewart's part. There's only one more amateur team to go. He knows where he's at in the points, and a lot of people would say, well, why did he handle so fast instead of letting that dog hunt? Well, we've seen a number of dogs have big hunts and rack up points. I mean, think back to Christy and Bob. So Stewart gambled. He decided he'd put the dog on the bird quickly. He's doing the exact same thing here. He figures as well as Stormy handles on blinds, he's a lot better off to just take the quick handle and get Stormy to the bird. On that last mark, it seemed to really pay off, but not so much here.
So really no different from, say, a poker game strategy, right?
Oh, exactly. You got to play the game. I mean, ideally you want the dog to go out there and find the bird on its own, but when you're taking a look at where other people were losing points or faults and you're trying to conserve, to hold your ground, yeah, you got to play the game, and Stewart's doing an excellent job here. But now here's where that can come back to haunt you, because on this mark, look at that cover, and as you can see, it's really hard to see Stormy out there. As a matter of fact, Stewart's had to get up and change position. So Stewart's already handled to the area. He's had quite a few whistles, and be interested to see what the judges do there at the end where the dog was coming in and out. Sticking with his strategy, Stewart once again is attacking it early with a quick handle. Right now, Stormy's not in a bad place at all. Correct side of the wind. And the other thing that Stewart's looking at, Tommy, is he's trying to maintain his spot, because the top three dogs, as you know, from this competition automatically get a bid into next year's Crown Championship. And I think that's going to be good enough to do it for him.
Yeah, that's the fruits of that strategy you mentioned, Jay Paul, and good enough to get this team, well, jumping up over Chrissy. Stormy does. Stuart Williams into second place, not too far behind the leaders. Far from over, more retriever action on the way. When we come back, though, we'll head to the dock and watch the Junior Flyers in action.
Welcome back. J. Paul Jackson here for the Eukanuba Spotlight with Dr. Jill Klein, Site Director of the Eukanuba Pet and Health Nutrition Center. Jill, great to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you, J. Paul.
Good to see you. Now, tell us a little bit about what you guys do there at the site.
So I am in Ohio, and at our Pet Health and Nutrition Center, we focus on things like sporting dog nutrition. So our job is to drive innovation that then helps the dogs perform better in the field. So we design it here, and we feed it here, and then we take it out into the field to handlers just like we're seeing today to see if it really does what we expect it to do with hardworking dogs.
And that's very important because, we've heard our handlers talk about how these guys are truly canine athletes, just like the human athletes they're comparing them to. And an Olympian's got to have proper nutrition to perform, and so do these dogs. So tell me what you guys focus on.
It's a really great analogy to call them athletes and compare them to Olympians, because when we're feeding human athletes, just like with dog athletes, we need to feed them to their sport. So these guys need different levels of protein, fat, and carbohydrates. And in addition to that, they really need a different combination of vitamins and minerals. And what we can do then is design a diet specifically for the activities that we're asking these dogs to do to help them perform better.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jill. And guys, now let's go back to the action in the Super Retriever Series Crown Championship.
Well, actually, we are well into round 2 of the Junior Fly Competition. A beautiful spot right here on the banks of the Mississippi River. Coming up next, we're going to look at Team Oscar. There's the handler right there. That is Maddox Hamilton. Maddox and Dad Kevin. And Oscar, all from Jonesboro, Arkansas. Good-looking dog is Oscar.
Yes, he is. And I'll tell you what, this is the first time I think I've ever seen a case where the dog is actually larger than the handler.
We checked the rule books. It is perfectly legal. In fact, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing this.
Yes, sir. You know, it's so wonderful how anyone can get into this sport. I mean, look at little Maddox here. He's about to throw the dummy for Oscar. And
Any dog can do it, and just about any person can do it.
amen. Here we go. Give it a throw.
right,
Dad
Maddox.
gives a little bit of help there.
Maddox got job one. He hit the water with the bumper. That's an important part of it. Successful jump for Oscar. Good team effort right there. Jump of 8 feet 10 inches. They're going to keep. That's going to be their higher score, so they'll keep that. Trying to beat it, Val and Tristan Olson from Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Mama Carla there, holding Val. Here we go. Tristan cuts him loose. Boom, look at Val.
A little bit different technique there. We had the preemptory toss, but man, the jump was great too.
Yeah. Came a little bit premature, but it turned out really good. 12 feet 10 inches there for Val.
That's an awesome score. 12 feet 10 inches is going to do it. Coming up next, who is going to be crowned the winner in our amateur division? That's next. The Super Retriever Series Crown Championship is presented by Eukanuba, the leader in premium nutrition for sporting and working dogs. The United Kennel Club, dogs that do more. And by XL Boats and Mud Buddy Motors. Welcome back to the Super Retriever Series Crown Championships presented by Eukanuba Mount Repose Plantation. None of us said this is new in the rotation, J. Paul, but it is nice, huh?
It is so nice. I mean, we're actually running this competition in the front yard of this magnificent old plantation.
This is Mike Gibson from Galena, Kansas. The dog is Trig. Mike has almost 30 years at hunt tests and field trials, and he's got a record. Man, he's up in your stratosphere, J. Paul, I'm telling you.
I tell you what, as an amateur, he has done extremely well, and he scares a lot of pros, too. This has been the team to watch all weekend long, Tommy. They have been very, very consistent. Trig has his Super Retriever Series Amateur Champion title, and adding an Amateur Crown Championship title would really be the culmination of everything that Mike and Trig have worked for together as a team. And I tell you what, they're off to a really, really strong start here, and I love the line that Trig has to this bird right now. As a matter of fact, I'll be very, very surprised if Trig struggles whatsoever with this. But yes, sir.
Wow.
Nailed it. You could tell by the way that tail started wagging when he hit the area of the fall. He knew where that bird was. Off to a really good start on this mark.
We're all impressed with Trig. Maybe most impressed of all is Mike Gibson.
Trig is an excellent marking dog, and when we really have a chance to do well is when he's really working with me and when we're in sync together, because again, in this arena, nobody skates through this thing without having to have help from the handler and just seeing everything and going and getting them. And so you know, Trig is a very capable dog, but when he's in tune with me, you know, he's very strong. And when he's not in tune, things can go south quickly. If Trig was a human athlete, I would say Ken Griffey Jr., because everything he does is effortless and makes it look so easy when he does it right. And he just has a smile on his face all the time and just loves doing what he's doing.
Well, Trig, at 7 years old, certainly has the resume to match up with that glowing description by his friend, his handler, Mike.
Amen. He's also got a lot of experience, and so does Mike, too. You can see, yes, sir. I mean, right there is an example of that experience. Trig's done great so far, started to fade to the right. Mike has stopped him before he gets into no man's land, and that's really a good place to be because he's in position to win that bird. All he has to do is punch him into the cover, and it looks like it paid off, too. 54 faults, and we've only got one bird to go. I tell you, the key here now is just don't mess it up. And it looks like Trig has got an absolutely fantastic line. I mean, there's no better place to be. Here's somebody saying, I think Mike was about to blow a whistle. And
Why?
Yeah, exactly.
This is automatic.
I
That's
just
all you
let
can
him
say
roll
about it.
here. I
Yeah.
mean, he's on the right side of the wind. He's looking back to his left, knows where ooh! Yep, he winded it. I guarantee you, that's one that Mike definitely wishes he had back, but it doesn't matter. Fantastic run.
He is not going to need it. You saw that faults total right there. An incredible 68 faults. That puts Mike Gibson and Trig on top of the leaderboard, 220 aggregate faults. What a moment for this incredible team. All these teams in our Super 6 and indeed throughout our field, worked so hard to get to the Crown Championship, and they are getting the reward right now. And J. Paul, I know you had a chance to congratulate him in person. I think we'd all like to hear a little bit of that.
Mike, I know you were disappointed in retiring Jeter, but hey, how about this for a happy ending in it?
Well, I'd say it's a bittersweet thing, but I couldn't be more proud.
I know, buddy. I guarantee you.
Well, congratulations to Mike and Trig and all of our amateur teams. What a competition we have had all week. One of the best fields of amateur teams we have seen in this Crown Championship through the years. Next week, we start all over, and we will watch the Open Division in action, competing for the crown right here on the Super Retriever Series presented by Eukanuba.